Yeah, I wasn't a stand-up comic for 20 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I did some stand-up comedy for 3 or 4 years, and, but I've not done anything for 10 years. I've been in China for 8 years, 10 years, 8 years, and my first time back on the boards. I hope you'll tolerate me. But, anyway, yes, it's very good of you to ask me along. I've been asked to do about 15 minutes, so. I'd like to start off by telling you a bit about myself for half an hour. I was actually quite an ugly baby. You may find it hard to believe, but as an illustration, at my christening ceremony, my parents opted for a closed font. And there was quite a trend for in the 80s for water births. You know, women giving birth in sort of special water tanks. I was a trendsetter for this. I was born in the 60s, but I was one of the very first water births. I was in fact born in the Grand Union Canal. This was on the insistence of the midwife, and this was the only way she could be sure of having a barge pole at hand to touch me with. And it's actually true, when I was born, my grandmother rang her sister and said, "Bad news, it's a boy, and he looks just like his father." Because I don't think ugly people should be allowed to have children, actually. I think ugly people should be sterilised and have done with it. Because the only people who are willing to have sex with ugly people are other ugly people. And any offspring they have will have the ugly components of both parents. You're left with this sort of downward spiral of repulsiveness with me at the bottom. And that woman over there. So, anyway, yes, actually, I don't think, to be fair to my mum, I don't think my mum had much choice, because my dad was just about the only man of his generation left over after the Second World War, besides Monty, and he may or may not have preferred little boys, we don't know. And, anyway, so my mum was left with the choice of marry my dad or be condemned to a life of solitude and celibacy, and she made the wrong choice. Actually, many of you may have seen my dad. He had a long career in the cinema. You may remember at the beginning of all those rank movies, there's that big muscly bloke who bangs the gong. Well, that was my dad. He used to bang the gong with. Big weedy bloke with a big fat round head. But, anyway, my dad wanted me to have all the opportunities he'd never had as a child, so he sent me to an all-girls school. But it wasn't really very good. My only success was coming third in the who can pee highest up the wall contest. And I was beaten by the PE mistress, who was on steroids, and Susan Buckingham, who was on the wall. And it turned out she found a loophole, and apparently that's allowed. So there it was. So I lost to her as well. And another problem when I was a kid, I had uneven teeth, and I had to wear one of those brace things in my mouth for about 3 years. I mean, that was a real tournament with the girls. You can imagine. For 3 years, my mouth was just a tangle of tooth and flesh and metal and plastic. And giving me a French kiss would have been like living in a road accident. And as a result, I spent a lot of my teenage years in the dentist. And now, when I used to go to the dentist, it always seemed that the dentist had a really attractive dental assistant. Now, in my youth, I imagined this was just to entice red-blooded young males like me along to the dentist more often. But then I actually realised it's actually to give the dentist something nice to look at while he's poking around in your mouth. This is why the dentist often had those mirrors on the end of a stick. So you can actually pretend he's looking in the mouth, but actually look at the dental assistant while he's doing it. And then there was a time where they'd always pretend to give you an X-ray. And I'm sure they pretended, because they never actually showed you the X-ray. But every time you went, they'd get a piece of cardboard, like something out of an old Bounty Bar wrapper, and they'd stick it in your mouth. And then the dentist and the assistant would go around the corner and have a snog. And I'm sure that's what was going on. But also, you may remember, a lot of dentists have, my dentist anyway, had they play music in the dental surgery, and my dentist had a special tape of dentistry music for us to listen to. There was things like Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Work Over Troubled Waters, and Smokey Robinson's Tears of a Crown. And if you'd been in the chair for a very long time, he used to put on Someday My Rinse Will Come. And then there was Walker Brothers song, which went something like oh, you never close your mouth anymore with that frozen lip.
And there's some tenderness when I poke with my scalpel tip. I know you must feel like crying, 'cause baby, that nerve end is dying, and you've lost that lower feeling. Oh, that lower feeling. You've lost that lower feeling, and it's gone, gone, gone. Oh, oh, oh.
And then there was the Bee Gees song about the man with the huge mouth who's lost his special set of false teeth, which went did it go there? I had to live on coffee, juice, and Bisto. Think of all the things that I can eat, 'cause I can't bite if I'm without my massive chew set. A massive chew set is one thing that I need. And then there was the Tina Turner song. When all the men come in these places, and the men are all the same, you don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their name. You don't think of them as patients, you don't think of them at all. You keep your mind on the money and your tariff list on the wall. I'm your private dentist, a dentist for money. Do what you want me to do. I'm your private dentist, a dentist for money, and any old checkup won't do. Drilling and filling, a root canal surgery will do nicely, thank you. Let me loosen up your dentures. Tell me, do you want to see me do the flossing again? Anyway, yeah, so teeth are a big problem for me. I never really had the knack for sort of, chatting up girls. I was never really, I wasn't the sort of man to sweep a girl off her feet. I was more sort of a dustpan and brush person. And I never really mastered the technique of chatting up. I remember once I went into a bar and I saw a girl I liked, and I went up and said, "Could I interest you in a drink?" And she said, "Frankly, you couldn't interest me in a cellophane jockstrap." And but anyway, I kept trying, and in the end, things progressed, and we ended up exchanging bodily fluids. She spat at me, and I burst into tears. And as a result, I've never really had a girlfriend. I did meet a girl once who said she thought I was sweet. But it turned out she was diabetic. She spent 10 minutes with me and lapsed into a coma. But despite the fact I've not really been very, very successful with women, I do see myself as something of a new man. Now I know that a lot of women say, "Oh, no such thing as a new man," but I do see myself as something of a new man. For a start, my voice only broke a few months ago, so that makes me quite a new man. And but of course, to be a new man, you have to go through some sort of rebirth experience. Now, I can't obviously return to my mother's womb because, she's had a hysterectomy, and her womb is probably in the freezer compartment of some medical student's fridge, waiting to do a practical joke. "Oh, let's play bagpipes!" Or, "Oh, look, it's Paul, the psychic octopus. Oh, who's going to win the World Cup?" I can't literally return to the womb, but you can travel from Cornwall to London in the back seat of a Mini, and this is a very similar experience. Because first of all, you have to get down into the fetal position to get into the back seat of a Mini, and it's all humid and hot and sticky and dark, and there's the of the loose exhaust banging on the bottom of the car, which sort of simulates your mother's heartbeat. And it takes about 9 months to get from Cornwall to London in a Mini. And when you get there, the front seat folds down, and you have to crawl head first through this tiny gap. And you get all tangled up in the safety belt, the driver's safety belt, and you end up on the pavement covered in grease and blood, And if you're anyone on the pavement in London any period of time, someone's going to come and give you a slap. So it's pretty much a rebirth experience, and I think any man who's been through that process will never be quite the same arrogant bastard he was before. But anyway, one thing about being a new man, I do find In my life, there have been women I've liked, women I've loved, women I've been in love with. And their attitude to me is always the same. Oh, Mike, you're like a brother. Oh, you're like a brother to me. If I had €1 for every time someone had told me I was like a brother, I could have bailed out the Irish government. Not the Greek government. There's not enough women in the world. But there was a girl, a woman who I really fell for it was 10 years ago. She was my job share partner. We were both recycling officers, and she was just the woman of my dreams. You know, she was feisty. She'd think nothing of cycling 70 miles in an evening to go and drink a pint of real ale in a Dartmoor pub. Yeah, that was the sort of woman I really liked. And I worshipped her. But she was married. I couldn't tell her how I felt. You know. And then she split up with her husband, and I was the person whose shoulder she came to cry on. But I couldn't tell her about it. You know, I couldn't tell her how I felt. She didn't need that at that time, me telling her how I felt. You know. Then she had a cycling accident. She broke her collarbone, and I was the person she rang. You know, when she got back from A&E, I was the one she rang. I had to go and help out with the kids, do stuff in the house. But I couldn't tell her about it because she didn't need it at that time. Then she was diagnosed with leukemia, and I was the one who went and sat with her in the hospital. And when she had having all her tests, you know, in fact, I went in. She said she had her platelet count. She had 3 platelet counts. I got 5, 12, and 19. I said, well, that's good. You get 3 more. You used to do the lottery ticket. But again, I couldn't tell her how I felt about her. You know, it just wasn't the right. It was never the right time. You know, and she's ill, and she's. So anyway, but in the end, I did what a lot of people end up doing. I wrote some poetry, which I sent her, and it's 10 years ago this month that I wrote this, and I thought I would share it with you tonight. It owes a lot to Cole Porter. I know I'm not the first person that's done this. I won't be the last. But just like I say, it's 10 years old this month. And this is what I wrote to her. You're the top. You're the hanging gardens. You're that beard of Osama bin Laden's. You're the top. You're the J.K. Rowling. You're the top. You're Shane Warne's bowling. You're the sound when choirs of Welsh men sing. You're the top. You're the Sherpa Tenzing. You're the top. Attenborough on telly. You're that save by Gordon Banks from Pele. You're the top. You're the dog's bollocks. You're the top. You're Steve Redgrave's Rolex. You're the top. You're Einstein's brain. You're Basil Fawlty saying, Manuel, let me explain. You're the top. You're the Dean and Torville. You're the top. You're a Steinbeck novel. You're the top. You're the Cold War ending. You're the top. You're the Lark ascending. You're the top. You're the Cassius Clay. Among superbugs, you're MRSA. You're the top. You're Amundsen of Norway. You're Harry Lime's face lit up in the doorway. You're the top. You're the Tin Pan Alley. You're what Meg Ryan had when Harry met Sally. You're the top. You're the Rosa Parks. You're Nadia Comaneci's Marx. You're the top. You're James Lovelock's Gaia. You're the top. O.J. Simpson's lawyer. You're the top. Ian Thorpe, the Torpedo. You're the top. Warren Beatty's libido. You're the top. The eternal flame. You're the way Tom Lehrer makes things a rain. You're the top. You're sulfuric acid. You're the vocal cords of Brian Blessed. You're the top. You're the World Wide Web. You're the top. You're Buena Vista Social Club. You're Dumbledore, Hogwarts Chief Wizard. You're the top. You're the Eddie Izzard. You're the top. You're the smallpox vaccine. You're not the plastic surgeon for Michael Jackson. You're the top. You're the Reed Petite. You're Michael Portillo losing his seat. You're the top. You're the penicillin. You're Dylan Thomas rolled in with Bob Dylan. You're the top. You're the Amazon River. You're the top. you're Paul Gascoigne's liver. You're the top, you're Lord Byron's poems. You're the top, a giant redwood's flows. You're all those plays of Arthur Miller's. You're the Harold Shipman of serial killers. You're the top, you're the Beryl Burton. You're the guy who'd say, Mr. Mandela, don't put that shirt on. You're the top, you're the Yuri Gagarin. You're Dr. Strangelove, with Peter Sellers starring. You're the top, the mystique of Stonehenge. You're the top, you're cold-served revenge. You're the top, you're Professor Carl Sagan. You're the bloke with the sense to shoot Ronald Reagan. You're the Quasimodo of lovesick hunchbacks. You're the top, live for Christie's lunchbox. You're the top, you're the golden share. You're the man with the bags in Tiananmen Square. You're Peter Cook playing E.L. Whisty. You're the top. You're Tony Blair's honesty. Oh, sorry about that. You're the top. The Mahatma's life. You're Tiger Woods and his lovely wife. Oh dear. You're the top. You're once more unto the breaches. You're Steve Irwin's skill with dangerous creatures. Oh. You're the top. You're Bill Clinton's zipper. You're the marriage between Al Gore and Tipper. Oh God. You're the Montreal Protocol to cure ozone. You're the top. You're the Eurozone. You're the top. You're Ryan Giggs' reputation. You're the news of the world circulation. 10 years is a long time in love poetry.